This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, sliceonbroadway.com. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/awesomecast.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said now. I'm getting awesome, you're getting awesome, we're getting awesome, yeah, that's what I said.
Live from the Sorgatron Media Studio in the Beachview neighborhood of Pittsburgh, PA, it is the AwesomeCast episode 385. And it's time to get geeky, get techie with you. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron the Twitter, video producer, podcaster, and the content creator here in the Pittsburgh area. And coming at us from Studio C, it is John Chichilla. He's a gadget guru, from Big Bank International Esquire.
And from Dormont, Pittsburgh.
And from Dormont, Pittsburgh. Yeah, no, Dormont, PA.
Dormont, PA.
Outside of Pittsburgh.
Outside of Pittsburgh.
Yes. It's funny because I do have somebody coming in here who is an Esquire later in the night for the other show. So
very nice.
Yes, and he's got a giant gavel.
Does he bring it with him everywhere he goes?
Yeah, apparently he keeps it in his trunk. It gets it from a website where you can just get big props. So there was a request, and he's just like, "Oh, it's always with me." It's just okay. Anyways, this is the AwesomeCast. We talk technology and geeky things from a Pittsburgh state of mind. You can check us out at awesomecast.com, including our interviews, just like the extended interview with our friend from Jack from Duolingo last week. We did a great awesome chat with him with his backstory, and it's a really surprising one. It was really cool. So go check that out and other interviews that we have going on as well over there at awesomecast.com. Please subscribe to AwesomeCast on the iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Google Music podcasts, as well as video versions on the YouTube and Facebook page. And we're live here every Tuesday on the Facebook page at live.awesomecast.net. I'll give you a shortcut to our video page at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks to our streaming partners, RiversEdgePGH.com, that has us rebroadcasting Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. And also, brand new, we just had the first one this past weekend, River Talk. We're having an awesome thing of the month every third Sunday. We'll see how that allows for my schedule, but ideally, every third Sunday, I want to be over there on River Talk with that. If you go over to riversedgepgh.com and click on the River Talk, it's the one where they're talking about horny deer in Mount Lebanon. And you might be familiar with that, Chilla.
I've never heard that. I didn't hear that show, but I'll have to scour the internet.
Watch out, so you can learn about the horny deer just over the border in Mount Lebanon, because I know you're not very far from that.
No, I think I can throw a baseball and hit Mount Lebanon.
Or a horny deer. Also, thanks to our other streaming partners, the 405media.com, that have been playing us at 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon Eastern, over there on their network. And thank you to our Patreon supporters at the Coffee Club $5 level. He's going to get the gold of us talking about Windows 10 upgrades and the issues I've been having with them. Matt_Weller on the Twitter. And at the dollar fan of the show level, Matt Fedor. I'm screwing up names. Michael Fedor. Jeez, there's a lot of Michaels and Matts in my life right now. My brother. Michael Fedor Show. Mike Fedor Show on the Twitter. So thank you to those guys for supporting the show and literally helping keep the lights on here in the studio. Patreon.com/awesomecast. If you would also like to contribute, if you're digging the awesomeness that's happening here. Chilla, it is time for your awesome thing of the week.
So my awesome thing of the week is not necessarily a specific item or not. It's pretty much an action that the UK and England have taken. And I thought it was we talk a lot about rural areas and the Nebraska effect or what we have deemed as the Nebraska effect.
Which I did go to Nebraska and the internet was actually quite fine there.
But obviously it's something that also plagues England. So what the government has started to do is they've reached out to the National Church Institutions, the NCIs of the Church of England and the government, and they're going to work together and it's ultimately up to each church-owned property, but they're asking that they become a site for digital infrastructure to help improve broadband, mobile, Wi-Fi access, etc., for rural communities. And I thought this was a really good idea. Obviously, there's money that can go back into the network of churches. They can use it for their own communications. I just thought this was an interesting way to use existing structures to help expand connectivity.
And it looks like they're attaching 4G to these, like to the towers and everything.
Yeah, like they can build what they call it, like a mini mast or something like that.
Yeah,
to kind of create and extend existing networks. And the Church of England has over 16,000 buildings in 12,500 parishes. Nearly 2/3 of those are situated in rural areas. And when you think about, I mean, obviously they have electricity running to them. They have the ability to communicate today. So bringing that communication out to people in those rural areas, to me, just makes sense. And I mean, there's so many places around here where, you know, there's dead spots and there's this or that. It would be interesting to see. I would hope that even places like Pittsburgh could almost take a chapter out of this book. You look at PGH mesh and things of that nature, but using these existing structures, making a partnership, helping each other out. I just think this is a really good opportunity. Obviously, England has figured it out, so hopefully the U.S. can too. Or we'll just make a mess out of it. Who knows?
Well, you know, in the end, or it'll become illegal, and I don't know, separation of church and internet, I guess. In this case, I feel like, well, when there's several states where you can't do this, you know, in a community manner. I'd be curious about that. Who's deploying this? Is it like is the government reaching out to them? You said
the government's reaching out to them.
Interesting. I mean, you know, good use of the buildings that are already there. So, I mean, in the interest of community service, I could see that being a big thing as well. I mean, I would see like even a pit mesh sort of situation, kind of reaching out for the churches in rural areas too. Because I mean, like we visited recently, talking technology with a church in West Virginia, and it's one of those that it's a small church. It's a small church by a picturesque creek, by the way. And but then there's like it's that, and then there's a few homes across the street, right? So like there's literally like a small community right there with the church. And I don't know if just that community goes to that church or what the case may be there, but like that church could serve that community right there, right? With something like this. So it'd be interesting to see how that works out.
To me, it's just a great opportunity, and hopefully, I'm interested to see how it plays out in England. And like I said, for as many places as I see, even just miniature dead spots and whatnot, but can visually see a church within the same vicinity, I could just definitely see good use coming out of this if there can be some kind of agreement.
Absolutely. So my awesome thing of the week, I actually had the opportunity to be on the gig for Social Justice Innovation Weekend over at Repair the World. This is the second one I've been a part of. Last year's was very good. And again, it's kind of that startup weekend concept that we talked about. I've done a lot of the streams for those over the last couple of years, where everybody meets, pitches their ideas, and the top maybe 6 of them, I think in this case, get to move on, and people can join their team and help them kind of jam on a project over the weekend, right? You know, doing a little bit of the the background work around it and everything. Well, let's say there was another one this past weekend over the holiday weekend, and it was great to be a part of that as well. A pretty cool group in there, and some interesting ideas and some other kinds of ideas, I guess. But the top 3 that won. One right here, if you're watching the video, Pinhole, I believe, came in at number 3. They're looking to help deploy photography for school age kids and everything, and helping communities there. There was another one. The winner was actually involving, get this, Chilla, 360 like 360 photos. The idea of going to certain neighborhoods and taking 360 photos and help with immersiveness and the cardboard VR headsets and things like that, and deploying them in the libraries. It turns out there was one library they went to. Apparently, they were trying to roll out some kind of 360 situation, and she had the Gear 360 when she was giving her presentation in the front of the room as well. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And the other one that came up, less techie, but also very interesting. It was they had some story about how they were at a bar, and there was some guy like coming up to their group and kind of challenging the one guy in the group and making things just all kinds of uncomfortable, right? And it ended up being when they tried to leave, there was an incident outside. But the bar wouldn't help them, or nobody would escort them out. Like the employees wouldn't help, right? So it's kind of a verification system to say, hey, this is a safe bar, and we'll keep you hanging and things like that. So it was pretty cool. Again, the video's over on the Repair the World Facebook page. You can see the presentations and the winners being announced and everything. Definitely worth looking at, and you never know where these are gonna go. The winner won $1,500, and it was a pretty cool event.
So Raise the Bar. So was that one?
Yeah, Raise the Bar was number 2. Yes.
Was it like almost like a Yelp, but from like a Yelp for safety?
Yeah, it was Yelp, and they kind of verified the bars and everything too. So it was kind of like a Yelp for safety, I think, in the long run. This is not a new concept. I think there's Washington D.C. has a few like these, and I think I'm finding it. Oh. So yeah, so they're just looking to deploy something similar here in Pittsburgh.
That's a really cool idea.
Another one worth mentioning, Behavior. I think I've mentioned them here on the show before. These guys are looking to develop. They actually won last year's Social Justice Innovation Weekend, and I've seen them actually present also at an AI weekend prize situation as well. They're looking to use AI in an app to help people that are, relapsing for whatever drugs and that they're trying to come back from, right? And to the point where it's keeping an eye on your stuff from your wearables, like maybe my Pebble is has the heart rate and everything like that, and it knows the patterns of, oh hey, something is happening, you're stressed, this is what happens, before you usually go back to the old behaviors, right? And it can give you things like give you option to go call EMS, go to a hospital, get a certain message that will pull you out of it, things like that, and kind of develop that and help you out over time. Really interesting, especially since we do work with some behavioral health around here and drug and alcohol counseling clients as well. So I've seen a little bit of this conversation for a good while. So that's Behavior. That's with an AI in the middle of it, of course. And I think they might be working out of Ascender, if I'm not mistaken.
And they presented as well, or that was just the one from last year?
Yeah, they did.
I know they were there for last year, but I didn't catch what they presented.
They presented kind of an update on how they've been since last year.
Okay.
Since they were the winners, and just say how far along they've gone, and the things that they've been doing, and what the thing was. So again, something for all the new people that have their presentations this time. Hey, here's somebody who won last time, and this is how far they've taken it. So pretty cool. Again, the winner won $1,500, and you can check that over Repair the World Pittsburgh's Facebook page. So I sometimes just need to repair my hungry stomach, Chilla.
Oh, I feel you on that one.
And I did so earlier after a long drive today with the lifts out there, getting all the people safely to their destination on this fine, fine day. And dropped by to our good friends, Slice on Broadway. Check them out at sliceonbroadway.com. Right here in Beachview, the OG, the original, as well as Carnegie, PA, PNC Park, and East Liberty. They're getting all around town, delivering delicious pizza-ness to everybody. Please, the multiple time Pittsburgh Pizza of the Year. Thank you to them for supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. PGH_slice on the Twitter, as well as Slice on Broadway on the Instagrams and over on the Facebook as well. Tell them the AwesomeCast sent you, Chilla. I know you do.
Oh, I do every time.
Yes.
You know what they need to? They need to create like some kind of physical patch that you can buy for not too expensive, right? That's just like a little circular patch, almost like a Boy Scout badge, where you can go to each slice around Pittsburgh, and you could get that slice's patch, and you could collect them all.
You want to collect them all? You want to do the Slice World Tour? Is that what's going on here? There you go. I want
to do the Slice World Tour.
There you go. Somebody told you.
Slice crawl.
Missy, can you tweet Slice this idea? And we'll see if they can. We can help them implement it. Free ideas from our ads right here. So I want to take a moment to say what's up to everybody that's popping in the chat room. What's up, Amanda? What's up, Steve? Our friends from Bold Pittsburgh and Bold Sports. What's up, Jamie here in the neighborhood, I believe. And everybody else has been dropping in throughout the afternoon. Even you, Bobby Cherry. We love you. We do love that he invited our producer to watch the video that we're producing on Facebook. So that was a blast. Thank you for that. So anyways, so let's get back into some of the stories here. Let's stay with the local focus for a moment. I think I got one more here. As that caught up with me, excuse me. This is one I had earmarked just in case we had time on the awesome thing of the month here. This was featured in Next Pittsburgh, and I'm going to sneak a drink here in a moment. This new app makes West Homestead smokestacks a symbol of good health. So this is, one of those jams with CMU and one of these local coding programs that escaped me because it's right here in the article. But basically, they're putting out an app, and they're going to light up the smokestacks and give updates of local runners' goals on those smokestacks in Homestead. Those really cool ones when you drive down, when you're going down to Lowe's for your movie or you're doing your Costco run. So that was a pretty cool integration they had going on there.
So it's interesting. So there's an interactive component that the project's individuals' achievements on the smokestacks from the former Homestead Steelworks at the waterfront, blah, blah, blah. The more steps walkers take, the brighter the display gets. Didn't we do something like this downtown on the golf building where it lit up based on Instagram moods? And
I think it did. Yeah, they did that for a weekend. Right.
I really like this idea. The interest. What I'd like to see is and I apologize because I didn't read this ahead of time. Can anyone sign up for this?
So this is right now they have a prototype. But they had the prototype in December for Let's Walk, a socially networked mobile app designed to help West Homestead residents find neighborhood walking partners, map their routes, and count steps. So this app is and that's why we're focusing on something like the towers down there in Homestead and at the waterfront, because this is a very localized, hey, let's get everybody in the area out and moving, right?
So where's Beach Views?
What are we gonna light up here?
We have Slice on Broadway.
We have Slice on Broadway, which is the anti-walk app. But maybe that's the cheat day app, right? But what? I just keep shining. I'll shine things on the tee as it goes by, like the one just did over here, or something. They're gonna love. Pat's gonna love that.
I think this is a great idea, and I'd like to see this come to a number of neighborhoods. I mean, I could say the same thing, right? Where's Dormont's? But no, I really like this idea, and I feel like it gets people in the community out and talking and working together. I don't know. I hope more comes of this, and they almost make it where you can kind of adapt this to any kind of display or whatever.
Yeah, we don't really have like that one individual landmark, not in the broad scale of those smokestacks down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel for our respective neighborhoods, right? We just kind of exist on the side or top of a hill, and that's maybe about it. But I thought that was a really cool one that they're working on there. And also, speaking of my transition falling off the rails, a couple quick things here. Riz, I kept seeing this pop up in my Facebook, and I kept avoiding it because it just seemed too weird. And I'm sad that Katie is not here for this one. She misses all the good ones. She doesn't bring the cool Pornhub story the week she's in, and then she misses something like this, like a man who hopes to father his fathered children with his sex robot. Yeah, okay. So I was reading some of this article and trying to avoid the pictures. Apparently, he will soon procreate with Samantha, his sex robot, by using a 3D printer to combine the pair's unique traits into a brain and to the brain of their robot child. And it kind of, and this is from the Day's Dispatch, and I don't know how hard hitting of news this one is it? But they do end with the note of however, a British scientist said human robot hybrids could come into fruition sooner than we think.
Isn't that how Terminator Genesis started?
Kind of something in the Doctor and timey-wimey and whatnot, right? Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure somebody at CMU already did this, but
well, they're not really. I don't even know how.
No, he's basically
they're not reproducing. They're 3D printing.
No, they're 3D printing. It's kind of an autonomous thing outside of them. He's probably going to take, those apps where you take a person, like they take the pictures of you and your spouse, you mash them together, and that's what your kid's going to look like. Mm-hmm. Basically, I think what he's going to do is that in 3D for a child robot. I don't know. This is something that's out there, and not the weirdest thing I've heard with sex robots either. So, wow. Anyways, Amanda's
Wheels' item has me excited.
It does. Well, first I wanted to get to the chat. Sorry for that. Amanda's saying about the Homestead smokestacks. It's the same concept as the Batman symbol in the Highmark building. Remember that?
Was that I remember them putting it up there, but
I don't think there was anything else to it. And
it wasn't like it lit up more or did something different based on something, did it?
And good news, she also points out, good news for some of you out there, there is also now a male sex robot. So that's a thing. Have fun with that.
In more ways than one.
Oh no. I walked right into that one, didn't I? Anyways. No. So Wheels, you said you were looking at Wheels' thing. Now we've seen this before. We've seen versions of this before.
So we saw this built into a laptop. And remember that laptop got stolen from CES?
Oh yeah.
2 years ago. So wasn't it Razor's Edge or whatever?
It had the multiple screen laptop layout. Now this is an attachment thing. Like in the image that they're showing is basically a 3-screen display attached to a MacBook Pro. From the looks of it, right? Where it's got wings hanging off the side. It comes in 13, 15, and 17-inch full HD 1080 displays, and runs on a single USB 3, USB-C port, or 2 USB 2 ports, and uses DisplayLink to power graphics.
I would pay this serious thought.
Of course you would.
Wouldn't it be? And I mean, I don't know if you still use things like Duet Display or anything like that.
From time to time.
I don't know. I just feel like I become much more highly productive with a second monitor. 3 monitors is sometimes pushing it for me, but in a business setting, a lot of times that third monitor is either like a pin board or like a holding spot for things I want to get to today, but don't need immediate attention. So it's kind of like that file folder, digital file folder bin. Just throw that conversation off to the side, throw that Word document that's in progress off to the side. I know that until that screen's empty, I'm not going home, but it kind of gives me that tertiary. And the 2 monitors I'm juggling constantly back and forth. So I don't know. The way what impressed me about this was they kind of came up with a way to magnetically attach it to the back of the existing monitor so you can slide it on and off the device. It folds out and can actually be folded all the way around. Where I like that is if you were doing some kind of demo or sales presentation and your client was sitting across the table from you. We've seen a lot where like the yoga from Lenovo, kind of the device folds all the way flat so you can both see it, but it's upside down to one person. To me, you can give them exactly what you want them to see, and you can keep, you could keep the PowerPoint notes on your side and show them the PowerPoint kind of thing. I don't know. I just see this as a very valuable device. The one thing, and I watched the video over and over again, but I did not see a price.
I didn't either. This feels like a CES sort of situation where it's kind of been shown off a little bit. Maybe is not rolling out. I don't think I can see a release date. The Next Web was the ones that had the article. They said it was on the floor of CES this year, and I don't think it gave anything else. No, it doesn't really give anything else for in the future. The company plans to make a gaming version.
I found a site over here, yourslide.com.
Yourslide.com. And Less Slide, LE Slide is the name of it.
Yeah,
I guess.
And it's 100 pounds.
What?
Or wait, order now and get 100 pounds off
the
retail
okay.
price, starting from 349 pounds.
Yourslide.com?
Yes.
This article was not good about giving this information out.
Yeah, it was all the way at the bottom.
Oh, was it? Was it hanging out down there? Yeah.
It depends. Yeah, it looks like it depends on what you're actually getting as the material it's made out of. Because you can get full grain leather.
Ooh.
Or you can get colored plastic.
Now, it looks like it's not necessarily released yet. Because
you make a deposit on
Yeah, because it says about 11,460 people have already ordered. Okay. Let's see. Our first review by Lions. Oh, there is. Yeah, there's that wood grain version. That looks pretty nice. 80-pound deposit. Jeez. Okay. It's like they're kind of internally kickstartering themselves. Slide and Joy is the name of it. Well, that seems to go along with one of our earlier stories. But anyways. Hey, Chilla, here's something local that's happening that we've mentioned here before. Something really cool happened. Hey, Millville's the place lately, isn't it?
It's always the place.
They got cool beer things happening. Our friends at River's Edge are hanging out over there. And, of course, on May 12th, 2018, they are going to have the Millvale Music Festival Part 2. The second one, these guys, it was a great thing that they had set up. It took over the town and just had so much music going on. They got a lot of fundraisers going on as well. So keep an eye on their calendar for that. I know they had a Groundhog's Day party earlier this month in the Millvale. I think they've been doing some stuff at, say, Hambones as well.
Yeah, on their Facebook page, there are different events that are popping up. I think Tim Vitullo, I believe is his name, was playing a show last night at one of the local bars that acts as one of the venues.
Actually, this Saturday, February 24th, down at Howard's Pub on 142 Grant Avenue, they're doing a guest bartender, Perry Reese, at Howard's. So you can do that. These are all fundraisers for the event. It's a community event and something really good for a really good community that's happening over there. Go support them. So support Millvale, the Millvale Music Fest, and support just local music in general. I was rocking the River's Edge all afternoon actually as I was driving around town, and it's really cool. It's a nice mix. Sometimes it gets a little country on me, but it was a really nice mix today, and really cool to know that it's some good stuff on there, Chilla. Like some really good local stuff, and it's not going to be that same stuff over and over again. Like even if you're using like certain channels on like Google Music, right? It's pretty cool with that. So.
I'll have to give that a whirl at work because I've been playing around a lot with the Apple Music Radio.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. It always you get the repeats or you get the same music kind of over and over again.
Yeah. And these guys are always adding their catalog, so I think they're programming it pretty good so far.
I think you should refer to it though as like Volume 2, like the mixtape Volume 2 from Guardians of the Galaxy for the second festival.
Missy can take that to the rest of the community. And I guess this partial disclaimer, Sidekick Media Services is a sponsor of the event. Do we have to disclose that?
I don't think we necessarily
No, that's
have
not
to, but
it.
it's not
For
a
our
bad
own-
thing.
Nobody needs
I
to
mean,
know
it's
that.
technically
Details,
kind of an
details.
ad, so it works out. So, Chilla. Let's say we touch a little bit on the video gaming this with that monitor and everything. You're excited about something that's being re-released.
Yes, so Nintendo and Capcom have announced that they're re-releasing Mega Man to Switch customers starting in May. I think it's May 22nd is the date. You will be able to, for a mere $15, you'll be able to get the first 6 Mega Man games with some additional, I think, music and art and whatnot. And then shortly thereafter, you'll be able to get the second set for $20 via digital download, and it'll be the remaining 7 through 10, primarily from the Super Nintendo era. Both 9 and 10 will have 8-bit retro throwbacks, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yep.
This is super exciting to me because I feel like Nintendo has this amazing catalog of retro content that people are obviously still interested in. I mean, I see where you're at in Mario Run Remix. You're ridiculously far in that.
I love that game. I realize I'm like on the last level of that. It looks like I was like, oh, I need to slow down because I want to have more to play. So
yeah. So, but I feel like they could do a lot with this. What I thought was interesting about this too was, so the first collection is $15 and the second is $20.
But the second one includes newer games, like they're not just 8-bit ones; they're 16 and 32.
Yeah, not just that. So let's run a tally, right? Both collections together are $35.
Either way, it's a steal. You're getting like
But
11 games.
Yes, but if you order the download code for the second set when you buy the first set, you can get them both for $40.
Wait, what?
So
That
the
sounds
first
like
set-
some Nintendo math there.
So the first set is 15, the second set is 20. If you buy them together on launch,
They gotta be giving you something extra.
you get a cleaning cloth.
Oh yeah.
It's a 30th
yeah.
anniversary cleaning
The
cloth.
30th anniversary. Well, it's for your Switch, right? You need a cleaning cloth for your Switch because it's mobile, right?
I guess.
No, that's good. So Nintendo loves re-releasing their retro content on the Virtual Console, and this is outside the Virtual Console. Like this is an independent release, right? So
That's correct.
So that
This is from Capcom, I think.
Yeah, that's the other thing because these legacy collections have been available on Steam and Xbox and different iterations of Xbox. So that's not new. So keep that in mind too. But no, and I think you're seeing a lot of these. You're seeing that. You're seeing HD remakes of even PlayStation 3 games or 2 games or whatnot. So this makes sense. I'm sad more of the Mega Man games haven't made it onto the iPhone. Mega Man X and Mega Man 2 had, but I'd love to see like a legacy collection on there. And
maybe hopefully if this goes well, they'll continue to just spread that out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, man, there's been collections of these original games for Mega Man since like at least the PlayStation 2.
When we're going to be getting, what is it, Mario Kart Tour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's by year end, but we'll be getting Mario Kart Tour on iOS and Android, so that should be.
So I mean, and plus look at all the Sega stuff that's been going on as well on mobile too. I download a lot of those, especially the Sega Genesis ones, and just go ahead and pay the $2 to get rid of ads because even on like Shinobi or I don't even know what else on here anymore. I just know I have a ton of them. Where are they? I swear they're all on here. Oh, there they are. I put them on the front page. Hello, like all the Sonic games, and they have like random stuff like eSWAT and Beyond Oasis and Decappa something. It's really, really random, but man, Crazy Taxi's where it's at. Anyways, moving on. So, Chilla, I want to tell you about my box.
Your boss?
No, my box.
Oh, your box.
My box. I was getting some new equipment for some of the switching stuff we were doing, and I opened it up and I saw a listing for a steam engine on the inner flap, and and this is what I saw. Oh, the steam engine assembly instructions: place box on floor, carefully place conductor in box, choo-choo noises. Yeah, I didn't get this out of my next box that I got from them, and there's a hashtag #MoreThanABox on here. Bobby Cherry says his Prime box the other day had an outline of a cat face for kids to play with. I suggested adult supervision when cutting it out, so I haven't. So, yeah, that's kind of a fun thing they're doing when you're buying your soap and technology through Amazon these days. So, hey, make the most out of those things. I mean, we've seen after so many years, you'll see like Despicable Me was advertised on the tape of your. Actually, there were ones that were just like the big eyeball of the minions on the side of it when you got your boxes too.
I wonder. So I saw something about it was like Black Panther sitting in some Amazon box, and I wonder if they did something with them. I don't know.
Maybe it's possible. I mean, it's a perfect place for promotion. It's, I mean, how many people are receiving these boxes? So that's kind of the perfect thing for them. So, Chilla, have you been watching the Olympics?
I watched some of the downhill skiing. I saw earlier that what was on when I came home? Gymnastics was on, which I think is actually pretty fun and cool to watch. Mm-hmm. And I saw some of the snowboarding, I think. I haven't caught it. I'm not one of those diehards that comes home every day and leaves it on 8 hours at a time.
No.
And
I was excited that curling was on when I was at some restaurant about a week ago. So apparently, not only was the Winter Olympics happening in South Korea right now, just a little bit of ways, there's also the robot skiing Olympics with the little chubby robots and ski gear. Doing their thing. They had a robot skiing event where these robots were set up to ski through the pylons and set up to try to sense those and see if they could compensate for that. They are very low. They are very low. Looks like they're maybe about 3 feet tall. From the looks of it, kind of a cool, chubby Johnny Five kind of situation. Apparently, no brakes because the people had to catch them at the end.
They can't figure out how to turn the skis together to stop.
Mm-hmm. No, apparently not entirely. Just they were just making them move. The person they're interviewing here that was just on the video was like, yeah, so they wouldn't let us let them participate in the Olympics, so we had our own event. So there you go. Robot Olympics are a thing, and we'll see if they'll have a chance to compete coming up here in 2022 at the next Winter Olympics when that goes down.
Isn't this the kind of thing that happens at CMU during spring break? Don't they have crazy competitions?
They do.
It's not
they
skiing,
do.
But they have crazy...
I don't know what they're doing with robots these days, but I know and as it was described to me by a student at CMU, they create kind of these carts like derby cars, and and they get the smallest person in it, which is usually small women in it that they're their classmates, and they race them. So that's what they do for the week off. They don't actually get spring break because they're all coding during spring break. So this is a thing that happens closer to finals, is they get this week where they create stuff, because that's what geeks do, and that's why they have their own sex robots at CMU. Purely speculation. But anyways. At least they're not having... there's a new facility at CMU that's supposed to be opening soon. I saw an article about that, and I've been passing the construction pretty regularly over there in Oakland. But hopefully they don't have the problem that Apple's employees have, where the new headquarters... it appears that the employees have been running into the glass walls at the new Apple headquarters. This is the spaceship, the big glass spaceship. You may have seen pictures of it online. And apparently people are just walking right into the walls. It's not just the birds we have to worry about, you guys.
Well, That's actually what I was going to bring up. Have we talked about the birds at the steel building downtown, USX Plaza?
I don't know if we have on this show, but I know we discussed this a little bit, haven't we?
Because you can walk, if you go to the upper lobby and you look around, because the first 2 floors are just all glass, you can see like birds that have just, like, it's like the wingspan, like, where they've smacked into the glass, and they're these prints that they leave. Some of them live, and some of them unfortunately don't. But it's a big, to me, it's a bigger problem than you would think. That's what I'm amazed with. I'm amazed that they don't have a cleaning crew 24/7 walking around the spaceship to make sure the glass stays meticulously clean. Because you have to tell me that the person that runs into the glass and they have their nose print there doesn't run over and grab Windex and clean it all off, right? I mean, I'm interested to see just what the cleaning team has to do to keep up with this place.
Now you got worried.
All the people bashing into it.
Now you got me worried, because I've had this smudge that I've needed to clean here in the front window, and I'm worried that was a bird.
It's just bird poo.
It's just bird poo. Okay,
yeah.
Maybe it pooped when it hit it. I don't know. But anyways, Chilla, was this you, or was this producer Missy that dropped this Amazon story in here?
Oh, that was producer Missy. I just
Producer
saw it from
Missy.
PG.
Yeah. So what's going on with the Amazon South Side? What I didn't know was Amazon was on the South Side.
Apparently, they're adding to. They're doing an expansion on the South Side to add 125 jobs.
There you go.
Well, not to add 125 jobs. It will add 125 jobs.
So despite us getting the HQ2 or not, this is they are here and expanding.
Yes. So it's interesting that you brought up about the HQ2 option, because does this mean that we're out of contention for HQ2 if they're just expanding there?
No, I think this has nothing to do with any of that stuff. I think it's just something that they're doing. Or
are they setting the ground for HQ2 in the South Side?
I think they're just generally expanding, and this is a good town for them to be in. So I mean, they are right across the river from CMU and all the schools, right?
Well, it's interesting too, because it's adding 125 jobs in the fields that include machine translation and speech science, which, go figure, it's in the South Side Works, which is geographically desirable to the CMU crowd. What I don't understand is there already an office over there? I know they have fulfillment centers around Pittsburgh. I think one's where ModCloth is or used to be. I'm not sure.
Yes.
I think they're still over there.
I think they're still over there, yeah. Like over
where I think there's a FedEx distribution center or UPS distribution center over there too. Not anywhere geographically near Sydney Street in the South Side. So I'm interested, if they're adding 125 jobs, to me that says that there's already an existing building or office area over there.
They must have some offices in those. I mean, there's been turnover, and it's not like they have everybody has a giant sign. All I know of that's over there is like American Eagle. So that's, who knows who has a presence. I mean, everybody has a small office here, between Google, between Microsoft, Apple, all have at least some kind of small office in the area. So it makes sense that Amazon, with their tech side, has things too, right? And actually, I mean, there was at one point I did pick up a group of people. I guess they were kind of recruiting at CMU, and I had a carload of people. They were from Seattle, from Amazon, and they were talking about whether they had Echoes, because they're giving out Echoes to all the kids as the give me bag thing, right? Because that's what you do when you're Amazon. You're just like, hey, want an Echo? Want an Echo? So yeah, it completely makes sense that they're already here and looking to expand on that side of things. So I mean, remember, they're a tech company too, so it's not just a fulfillment. Although the fulfillment's been interesting. Have you noticed the I don't know if we talked about this on the show. Have you noticed the I think there's more next day, and then there's pickup lockers. There's one in Oakland, but then now every Whole Foods is now a pickup locker for Amazon.
Yeah, Doug.
Yes, I did. I think Spoon may have posted a picture of one.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah, he was all excited about it when it came, like when it was announced they were getting it, And almost to the point, I think he might have sent himself something just so he could go to one of those lockers.
Now, every time I've looked at it, depends on what you order. Some things will pop up the next day at no additional cost, but some things are the same, like 2-day thing. Now, I have not also picked up anything like ordered something in the morning to see if I could get it that very same day. Steve is saying, Steve's saying in the chat room, he saw in the noon news. They were appointing an office and tech center to work on stuff like Alexa and improve the tech side. So going back to that bit. So as it is, so either way, Amazon owns a lot of real estate now in the greater Pittsburgh area thanks to Whole Foods. So maybe they're just working out the back in the meantime.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with that play, and I have not tried the pickup. Where I would personally use that if there was something that I would order that would be rather on the expensive side, and I don't want it just left on my porch all day long, that would be where I would use that type of service.
Absolutely. Hey, want to give a shout out to some friends that are geeks of a different kind. Our friends at Comic Book Pit. We're all tech friends, nerds, and geeks over here. But of course, look at my shirt right now. I'm completely sporting the Chibi Marvel shirt today because that's just how I roll. And I mentioned, I forget if it was on the show or off, but just recently I hit up the library and finally got the DC Rebirth Batman books and starting to read some of those and see if I like them because I'm really not sure because I'm tired of reboots all the time with comic books. And also, having that time to actually read anything is another ordeal as well. But these guys have inspired me. These guys are now recording here in Sorgatron Media Studios and getting that quality up there. Long-time podcast in the Pittsburgh area. Guys that have made comic books, guys that are talking about all the TV shows. They completely spoil me on where Flash is because I'm not caught up and probably never will be at this point. But it's really cool to have them in here and geeking out over comic books and everything. So go check them out, comicbookpit.com at their new website, recently redone. And please subscribe to them and are also included on the Sorgatron Media Master feed if you're on there to get your geek action there too. So, let's see. We got a couple more stories we can fit in here, Chilla. Why don't you tell me? Do I swipe? Do I swipe? Am I swiping left on this? What's going on here?
So, if you remember back in the day, and this dates back a decent amount of time, 2011. Actually, prior to 2011, because Nuance bought Swype in 2011. Do you remember the old keyboard on Android?
Yeah,
Swype.
I remember trying this when I got my Nexus 7.
And they Nuance bought them. People leased the technology. People copied the technology. To me, this was practically one of the driving factors of iOS getting third-party keyboards. And it was the technology where you could kind of swipe across with your thumb across the letters. And it would figure out which letters you kind of paused or hit and then move to the next letter on. And it would punch that out. I know a lot of people that were huge fans of Swype. I had the Swype keyboard for a minute. And then I was like, yeah, I'll just go back to thumb tap. And I don't know. So Swype has announced today, though, that they're discontinuing their keyboard.
Oh, no.
And this is the last version, and they're going to move to business-to-business sales. The interesting thing is I was in someone's BMW, which they commented on here.
Wait. Name dropping. I was in someone's BMW the other day.
I didn't name drop. I just said I was in.
You car name BMW. Dropped. I heard that.
I car dropped.
Yeah, you car dropped this.
They have it built into the BMW on-screen display. Now, not that I type things out very often on my in-dash display on the car. That is one place I would actually think to use it because it's a lot bigger. I'm trying to quickly tap in. The keyboard's bigger than my hand kind of conversation versus I can get to every key with my thumb. But that's going to be their new target market is to go business to business sales.
So it's business to business sales of the keyboard.
Or licensing the technology.
Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, they're just discontinuing. They're no longer going to develop the keyboard app. And there's plenty of knockoffs out there. I mean, and everyone else has adapted it into their typical keyboard. So is there really a need for them to continue? How much further can you develop this concept, right?
Right.
But I just thought it was interesting, and to the point that they're going to go business to business.
Yeah. Chilla, have you played with the robot toys over at the Apple Store lately?
Like the Sphero ones?
Yeah, like Sphero. There's a bunch of them now. Gadget was showing one off this week. It's a Mattel's Jurassic World Dinobots. Dinobots? That sounds like something else from somebody else makes. Anyways, but no, it's a robot. It's kind of angular, and it's a little bit of they had a little bit of STEM stuff added in this, like some learn the programming things on your tablet. Of course, there's an app and it's going to interface with it, and you can program it to do things like they were saying you could make it run across the floor and then stop, roar, and its eyes will change color. Like things like that, like sequences like that, right? They were showing it looks like it's kind of, you can take parts of it apart so kids can kind of learn how they work and everything. Kind of more of this educational thing. It's one of them is the Blue, the raptor from Jurassic World. The friendly raptor, Blue, the friendly raptor.
One of those little clicky things.
Yeah, exactly. So, is this? And I didn't realize. I don't think I got this far in the video. It looks like they do have a drone flying pterodactyl. What is terrifying? Yeah, that's great. But no, that's awesome. And some, I think, lower end. Probably a little less expensive than usual. They're about $60 each. The drone pterodactyl will cost you about $120. So some really cool kind of technological tie-ins to the Jurassic World movies coming out here this summer.
So, to me, these are super exciting, and from the looks of that layout on the iPad there, it's going to allow you to kind of do a bunch of different things. To your point, kind of create some macros or little mini programs, probably via drag and drop and whatnot. And that's the one thing that's really interesting to me on these types of tech toys, I guess you could call them, is the ability to build them up, kind of reprogram them, and then recreate different things. So, and I'll to paint this picture, right? So we have the BB-8 Sphero droid, and it's neat, and you can control it, and you can move it around, and it can do a bunch of different things, and you can draw patterns on your iPhone or iPad, and you can kind of get it to follow a pattern and whatnot. But then we have the R2-D2, I think it's the Little Bits set, where you can actually dismantle R2, completely reconfigure him in a different kind of way, take his parts and use them for other things, and kind of rebuild him in a completely different way. This is where I really see this kind of thing going, not just a remote control type toy, but kind of getting that STEM concept going.
It's the way to go. It's the way to go. We've been talking a lot about SpaceX. I talked about it on the River Talk Awesome Thing of the Month, because really, what's more awesome than the guy in the Tesla in space, right? That's still like my in-studio screensaver on the Chromecast. But SpaceX is doing something else that actually is going to have a little bit of results than just sending out and see if we can do it. They are about to launch as of this recording. I think they're doing it at the beginning of March, I think. They're about to launch 2 of its space internet satellites, the first of nearly 12,000. So they're looking to do 2 synchronous orbits. Let's see, one was about 200 miles up and operate on a different radio frequency. Another one 700 miles up, and so it will basically blanket the planet in a new internet system of satellites.
There goes my idea for bringing internet to church.
Maybe we won't need to use the churches. No, because something on the ground is going to have to interface with this. That's one thing they did. They said hasn't been kind of determined and solved, and this is something that's going to take them several years, because let's see, what was it? The first 2 of 12,000? That's a lot. I think they said
that is a lot of satellites.
They were looking to deploy them by at least a couple of years. 2025. Expects to have more than 40 million subscribers to the service by 2025. So again, this is something that they're rolling out that's going to be a direct income for SpaceX versus everything now that is basically building rockets and hoping they don't blow up so they can do something later, right? I think I've accurately, my knowledge of their business model from what I know.
And they were just doing something with the power grid in Canada too.
Tesla was, Tesla was starting to roll out another test of power grid to some areas of Canada. I believe Australia was the other place they did. They were rolling out some in Puerto Rico. It scares me how little I hear about Puerto Rico, knowing how bad it has been there. Like that worries me. That on the social side, like we're not talking about that more. We just forgot about this island. That's a freaking sovereign state of the United States. And but anyways, they were rolling out stuff there and trying to bring power back to a lot of them. I'd like to see an update on that at some point too. They're everywhere. They're sending cars into space. They're bringing electricity to everything. I've heard, and this is something that's always interested me with the Teslas. They keep talking about their Teslas because of course everybody on the Twit network seems to have a Tesla. But anyways, the resale value is not very high. So I mean, I'm wondering if we're going to be able to get a used Tesla here pretty soon for pretty cheap, Chilla, like more in our tax bracket, right?
Well, do you have to worry about the battery life? Because I know that was a big thing about the Prius, right? The battery kind of lasted about, was it like 7 years and was a third of the price of the car to replace. So I don't know.
Well, and that
could be why, right? Are you getting something that you're going to have to pay an equivalent half price of the car to fix later on down the road?
The other problem that you run into, especially in like our climate, is cold weather drains battery life,
of course,
exponentially, practically.
Well, I think that's settled in as well. By the way, I'm over on cargurus.com, and you get your 2016 Tesla Model S 75 for only $65,000. It's getting closer. A mere $65,000. It's a fair deal and about $2,000 below usual. So there you go. There's another one, a Model S P90D, that's 92, and that's a good deal at $8,000 below. So it's coming. So all right, Chilla, it's been good talking tech with you this week, good sir.
It has been a good one.
And of course, you'll be back here in Studio A next week.
Yes, same bat time, same bat channel.
Fantastic. You're at Chilla on Twitter, chillatech.net.
And John's Chilla on the Facebooks.
And of course, you can check out everything. We're here every Tuesday. I don't have a watch on. We have it's charging because I let it die earlier. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, streaming on our partners, riversedgepgh.com and the 405media.com. Thank you, producer Missy.
Yay, I got
for being here. Yay! Less distractions. Thank you for being here, everybody on the chat room and everybody dropping in and being part of the conversation. I hope you guys do too. Steve is saying, and if you have a Tesla, you can get Rockstar parking at some places for charging stations. Yes, I've been seeing those around more and more. So that's pretty cool. So thank you, everybody in the chat room. Thank you to our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.